Hello, everyone. I am going to try something a little bit different today. I am actually got a project in mind that I want to create. It's just something I'm kind of coming up with on the fly, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of film it while I'm doing it, so you can see how it's all put together. So what I'm working on is a birthday theme swap. And I want to create a birthday button, kind of one of those like fair buttons with, the streamers coming down the bottom and things like that. So I started with my We Are Memory Keepers button maker. I just punched a sentiment here, says less party, keeps it kind of generic. And I took the pin back out when I created the pin. So we've got just a flat back, I guess you'd call it, as our base. So this is what we're starting with. This is the medium size that We Are Memory Keepers has for the pins. Now, I punched a few thin chipboard circles. I don't know how many I'll need, so I just punched a few. So I started with this one already, and I cut 2-inch strips of ribbon, and I just taped around my circle, kind of layered them out so they would be even. My hot glue wasn't quite hot enough, so they aren't sticking down just yet, but that's okay. We're going to have layers of glue on this, I think. So this is what I have so far, and you can see this is kind of what I'm going with, going for. I want a couple of layers, so I'm either going to do maybe a punched die cut doily, or for sure another layer of the rolled ribbons, and then I'm going to make the streamers. Let's start with the streamers. I've already kind of pulled together some primary colors. This is the Carta Bella They Say It's Your Birthday collection, which is really, really a fun collection. I'll show you a couple of my pieces that I have left. This is the paper that got me. I love a vintage, and all of these vintage candle packets on this paper. Back is a dark blue. This was a piece of the cut aparts that I have left. And again, the primary colors with the candles. So that's my color palette that I'm working with on this. So we're going to go ahead and just cut some of our streamer ribbon. And of course, I'm going to cut them longer than I think I will need. What should I use? Well, we'll just kind of eyeball it here, I guess. So we'll do one for each side. And again, I don't think I'm going to need them this long, but I would rather have more than not enough. I've got some of this really beautiful red sparkle, and this is a nice, soft, flexible ribbon. So I really love that. That's going to be really nice on the base. I picked up this white one because I thought this would be a nice wide ribbon for the background. I like the kind of sheer see-through-y kind of vibe. So we'll do a couple of those. And like I said, I think that'll be my bottom. I did this lime green. And this is just a satin ribbon. Boy, that tape is really stuck. There we go. Do a couple of green. And then I have this fun orange sequin ribbon I thought would be kind of fun. Lots of movement and direction. So that's what I think I'm going to use for my bases. Now, I think what we'll do is maybe we'll go ahead and add it to this one right away, so it's kind of maybe in the middle of my layers. This is going to be, I'm going to do it Well, yeah, if this is my top, we'll build it from here. See, we're kind of going on the fly here. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of want it to hang down all the way. I don't want it to be too symmetrical here. A little bit different. Now, the best way to adhere these, I think what I'm gonna do, as I've been thinking about this when I go to sleep at night, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take this over to my sewing machine. And I think I'm gonna just kind of put some stitches in this to hold these in place. So we're gonna try that. Oh, I'm not on camera, so here's, okay, so I'm back. What I've done is I've just gone ahead and I've done a set of stitches across maybe 3 times. So now they're nice and secure. I'm gonna trim the top. Just go through and trim off the top. So I've got a nice top there. And now this could be glued or sandwiched in to my little project. So that's kind of what I'm going for. And I want to get this a little bit bigger. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to look for maybe a piece of felt that I can die cut, maybe a doily, just to give it maybe some dimension. We'll try that. And then we're going to loop some additional ribbons to give it more diameter here. So I'm going to go ahead and look for those things and then I will be back. All right, so what I have decided is I went with 3-inch strips. I found a dark blue, the navy, that I think works. I glued them all the way around, kind of in the spaces of the other ribbons. So you can kind of see here, we're going to have those coming out. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and glue these in so that we have kind of like that. And then I think we'll do one more set, probably the same size, to fill in the gaps so that I stop having I want it to be kind of a solid circle. So we'll do another set of the 3 inches with the red glitter. And we'll do it kind of like that. Or I could do it with the blue and make it solid. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do another set of the blue so that it is blue all the way around. I think I like that better. So we'll do another set of the blue all the way around. We're gonna fold them all in and get that blue circle. So let's do that. Okay, so I scrapped the idea of doubling the blue loops. So what I ended up doing is I went in a little bit with the 3-inch loops. So again, kind of not building on the same bulk, but bringing it in so it's, it's still staying pretty thin. And then we've got that. And what I think I'm gonna do, I think what might make sense is I'm going to go ahead then, still going to look for that felt piece that could kind of go around the back of it. And I probably then will sandwich my streamers in between that. And then I'll add another piece so that I can add my, I'm going to add a magnet attachment for it. So I'll add another piece for that. So it's actually getting time for me to get to work here this morning. So I am going to have to leave this. We'll come back to it a little later, but I'll look for that felt piece and then we'll try and go ahead and finish up the assembly. All right, so I did not like the double blue, so I went with red. And I just have my little loops kind of just stapled together. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hot glue those in between the blue loops And so we'll have just kind of that every other look. I tried the felt. So this was a die that had little scalloped edge. It did not, the felt couldn't sustain the little thin loops. And then I tried a solid circle, and that's really not giving me what I was looking for. So we scrapped the felt idea. So let's go ahead and put in our red. We'll just make a little dot in each spot here. And I want to make it about the same circumference as my blue pieces here. So go around. A little more there. There. I think that looks pretty good. So I think what I'm going to do is put a circle there to kind of cover that, seal that up. I think that makes sense. Make sure everything is adhered down. Now we got to figure out our tails. Do we want to do the tails? Yeah, I think like that. And then, oh, let me get a scissors and cut that string. I think we want to put those tails in before we put our circle in. So let's go ahead and do that. Making sure that this is the front of our tassel. I'm going to go kind of up into the middle a little bit so that I keep the bulk distributed here. And then I think what we can do is we'll go ahead and we'll glue this cardboard chipboard circle on as our back. And I'm just going to give that a really good press. Make sure that it stays adhered. I think that looks really good. We've got to add our button. So we're going to add hot glue onto that. I want it on the very edge. Now I have a magnetic closure that is left over from my daughter's wedding. We made our own boutonnieres using spent shotgun shells. Her husband is an avid hunter, so we needed to have something strong enough to hold those shotgun shells and the flowers, and I bought these. It's a 2-piece magnet, and it is very strong. So that is what I'm going to use as my closure on this. So this 2, it's just going to get adhered down. I'm going to put a good amount of hot glue in each of the little magnet parts here. And then we're going to go ahead and adhere that to the back of our button. That's all going to set up. I want that to dry. Really all I have left then is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim these. I'm thinking maybe 6-7 inches. I think 6 or 7 inches. I will trim those all up, and then I'll give you one final look at it before we finish this video up. All right, I have everything trimmed up. The glue has had time to set, so now we can add our second magnet back on there. And then here we have it. I just did some little tails. Now they can shorten it up even more if they choose. But this is what we have so far. So a little bit of a pin that we can use to celebrate the birthday person. Thank you for watching. Take care.